Hello YouTube, Perfect Death here, and I'm showing a little more War Thunder again. This match, I decided to try fly out in the P40 Premium Soviet Kitty Hawk, and I really do like this aircraft. Very good, very well balanced. It has 6 50 caliber machine guns, 3 on each wing, and it's pretty well armored. It can hold a very high speed in a dive for a low-tier aircraft like this. And in this match, we are up against the Japanese. And in particular, in this match, we are going to find a rather demoralized team on my side, simply because the enemy team has a squad of 4 people, and they are all flying Ki-43s. And those will outclimb anything we have. We have on our team some I-16s, some Leg 3s, and I think a Yak 1. They have 4 Ki-43s, and actually 4 H-6Ks. Those are the big float planes that are giant flying tanks with a 20mm cannon in the back. And yep, I can actually spot them right now. Somewhere over there. Can't quite see them when zoomed in. I think it might just be from the replay function, but I'm pretty sure I didn't spot them this soon. And now I can't see them at all through the clouds. But there's 4 H-6Ks, and they're all flying together, and the Ki-43s stay above the H-6Ks and effectively escort them. And it's very intimidating for our team, because we have no idea how to deal with this. You can see all 4 of them right there. I spot them, I start to turn towards them, because this is blatantly, those are H-6Ks. I don't even have them spotted yet, but that giant silhouette is so easy to spot. So I'm telling my team, we got H-6Ks. Not sure if this was the squad of 4 guys, but later on I end up spotting. Right there, you can start seeing the Ki-43s pop into a rendering range. And right then and there, they're just circling around the H-6Ks at high altitude. And my team, well, my buddies are killing bridges. I can't remember, it's really hard to see in Matchmaker here, or in the replay function more. But yeah, I spot an H-6K, spot some Ki-43s for my team, and I start backing out. Because the Ki-43 will outclimb me, he will outrun me in level flight, and he will outmaneuver me. The only thing they cannot do is outrun me in a shallow dive. So because I'm a heavier aircraft, I can maintain a higher speed, so it makes me able to boom and zoom effectively against these guys. I'm backing off, and I'm pretty sure my team is also backing off as well. We have 3 fighters who are actually up here, able to fight against these guys. But we're all scattered, we're completely unorganized. These guys are a squad of 4, they're escorting 4 H-6Ks, they're all staying together, they're not breaking off. And we think that, like, it's doomed. My team doesn't know what to do, so I'm trying to keep at their limits, see if I can maybe aggro some of them away and lure them towards my team, but they're not taking the bait. You can see this guy, this H-6K, is actually trying to engage me. He wants me to come at him, because then the Ki-43s come down at me. And he wants me turn fighting him, so the H-6Ks can take me out. But none of us are falling for it, because these guys are just sitting right up there. They're just looming like vultures right now, and we can't outclimb them. So one of my teammates starts to go like, well, what can we do? And I end up deciding, you know what? I should just aggro some Ki-43s. Don't do it quite yet, so I'm going to zoom forward a little bit more, and a little bit more. We're just And there we go. Right at about this point, I decide, I'm going to have to be the guy to aggro the Ki-43s. And to do that, I am going to attack the H6Ks. So we've got 2 H6Ks, or 3 of them over there, and another one over there. The Ki-43s are all in there. They see me coming. They're gonna go and position themselves above me, but they're so high, if they were to dive on me, they'd break their wings. So they have to slowly bring themselves down. So while they do this, you can see this guy, he's my target. I'm diving a little bit to pick up speed. I want to get away from these Ki-43s who are, as you can see, they're looming. They want to get me. And so this guy's there. I pull up and I get a shot off on him and I set fire. You can't see it, but there's an actual raging fire on his engine there, and I start running. Oddly enough, the H6Ks are the ones trying to actually dogfight me, but he's burning. He ends up going down. You can see you can see 2 of the Ki-43s. They've split off into pairs. 2 went after me, and they can't follow me in this dive. I'm just going too fast. Their aircraft is lighter. It can't maintain the same kind of speeds, so they break off. They're going to dogfight my team. So I loop around. They see that, but again, I'm going way too fast for them to engage. He starts diving down on me. I'm already in a shallow dive. At some point, he's going to hit his speed limit, and as you can see, he's like, okay, I gotta slow down, I gotta pitch up. And at that point, I start to get away from him. He tries to dive a bit more, but he just cannot sustain as high of a speed as I can. So I'm using this to zoom away from him. And I then decide, you know, one of my buddies is over here, I gotta try and help him out. And they're distracted, but this guy, he decides to go heads up with me. So okay. Now, all of those were basically hits, and you know, I nail his elevator. I'm pretty sure he's also on fire as well. Replay function is not showing it, and he basically goes down. And let's see, H6Ks, yeah, that one he's now really losing control. They're desperately trying to keep a formation while my team is going in and out. Because we were so disorganized, we were coming in and out at different times, and these H6Ks were having a really hard time figuring out how to keep together. And so they start going into a dive there, trying to get, you know, some distance from us. Their fighter escort's not really helping, and yeah, you can see they're trying to get revenge. They're on my 6, but they're, you know, kind of glancing and below as if they even bother to actually manage to hit me. But I do steepen my dive, start getting away from them, do a bit of a turn because they cannot maneuver at high speeds. And as you can see, he's got to pull up, he's got to slow himself down, and he's trying to keep up, but he can't really. And oh yeah, while I was dodging him, I decided to, you know, shoot up an H6K that was going down. And of course, this guy here, he's trailing smoke, and he's a nice juicy target. So I set him on fire, and I think I even set like 2 fires on him. So he goes down. At that point, it's just these 2 H6Ks. Drink for him. Might be trying to land, but nope, it exploded. And the Ki-43s are in the clouds. I do a Immelman. I'm thinking about going for these H6Ks who are landing, but I decide better and decide to level out. Or at least not yet. I don't spot the KI-43s yet. Just like to put a few pot shots in on them. They haven't landed yet, but when they do land, I decide to just leave them alone. So I still got two teammates over there, dogfighting with KI-43s. And yeah, at this point, yeah, I spot the KI-43s. They're coming for me now. They want me to stop harassing their bombers. And he's coming straight head on. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. Boom, he rams me with his corpse, and I start spinning. And I spin, and I spin. Now what I'm doing is I'm actually trying to keep my mouse following where I'm pointed, kind of like this, and I'm trying to use my manual controls to also stabilize, and right there I recover. And I know I have to get out of here because I just killed another one of the KI-43s, and the other two guys of that squad are pissed right off. And here they come. They start gunning away. Now, it's really hard to hit a guy from this kind of an angle where it's just showing this. So what I'm doing is I'm just changing my direction just soon enough so that when he shoots, his bullets miss because I just slightly move out of the way. And I'm going fast, so they have a really hard time at that speed keeping their gun sights on me because they can't maneuver very well at high speeds. So, like, do some slight left and rights, and around this point I realize they're out of guns. They have no more ammo. So the P40 was actually when the Russians were using it, they did found that they could break the wings off of other aircraft by flying next to them and tapping their wing onto theirs. They could snap their wing off because the P40 had, you might be able to see it inside of there, but there's a lot of strong structural support inside of the wing. So the P40 had a historically very strong wing, so I was still surprised that I survived a ram, and then I survived the stall, but I think we can all praise our Lord and Savior, the instructor, for pulling me out of that stall. And at this point, my engine was starting to suffer way too much leakage. The leaks started when I was engaging the H6Ks. A little 7.7mm round tapped my nose, and that caused a leak. And what ends up happening is those two KI-43s who survived, they fly all the way back to their airfield, they land, repair, and then bail. So we don't see them again. They decide that it's not worth, I guess, flying this match because it's about 5-on-2 if we don't count the H6Ks that are still around. It's just their fighters. So speed things up. Our guys are still blowing up the ground targets, bridges. Now around this point, I head over to the river because I know that there are still some, at least there were, those two H6Ks that landed. So I start flying over here to investigate. We can see the dead one over there. And actually what happens is I spot one, he's inside the trees there, I can't quite see him in here, but he was trying to turn around in the river and he beached himself. So he's dead. What I am doing is I found this guy trying to escape. So, sorry buddy, but I'm gonna get you. He's leaking out of one engine. Now, I am going to switch over to him. I think. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, you can see his buddy beached himself over there. Because I put all of my ammo into this guy. He takes such a beating. I light about 6-7 fires on him. So you can see me, I'm coming up above him. I'm not giving his gunner a chance to hit me. I roll over, go down, and he starts trying to dodge, but all he's doing is giving me a really good shot on his wings. I actually set a... no, I didn't set a fire. It took, I think, 2 passes before I set a fire. He tanks a lot of 50 cals. I pour like all but 53 rounds into him. So here I come again. Come over, 90-degree deflection shot, and I start pounding his wing. Yeah, I think the next pass is when I start setting the actual fires. And here he actually does tap my engine, and that actually, I think, starts causing a very slight oil leak. But again, and I get more shots. I'm basically just nailing his engines. Not really hitting much else. I think there I nailed a few more of his gunners. Yeah, there we go. He got my one hit on my engine. The P40 has a very weak engine. Inline engines were historically not that great when it came to reliability. When they took damage, they blow a cylinder out and the whole engine stalls. Let's see, another pass. So he's just tanking tons of rounds. But I'm pretty sure I end up knocking about 3 of his engines out. There's 1 fire. There's 2 fires. LAG G3 shows up. Put some cannon rounds into him. He's falling apart. Circle it around a bit. At this point, I realize that his 20mm gunner is basically dead, and I wasn't lighting his engines on fire from this angle, so I started trying to shoot from this angle, a much lower angle, and I started lighting fires. Well, he doesn't seem to have any fuel left in these fuel tanks up here, because these fires are just going out instantly. So 1 engine goes down. I'm pretty sure when I did this, his 2 middle engines were down, so I think it's just replay. So I'm pretty sure he only had the leftmost engine working. And yeah, at this point, I think I just leave him alone, because he only had like 1 engine working. The 3 on the left here were all dead, except for his 1 on the right. So he was basically just gliding down to his death. But I'm surprised that the replay function shows his engines all still working. Because, yeah, 3 of his engines were dead. And he got another fire, it went out. I have no idea how he is still flying. His thing is so tanky sometimes. I'm pretty sure he's got no fuel left. There we go. Now he's down. So one of the things that I really liked this match for was the whole thing about the enemy were all in a squad. They were all, flying together in a group, and our team were scattered. We had a bunch of ground attacking fighters, and yet we still managed to come out with a win. The enemy team actually shot nothing down. I took a look at the scoreboard, and none of their aircraft had any air kills. I got 4 air kills. I still had some ammo left, but I decided to leave the H6K for my team because they really didn't have very many air kills. In fact, I think most of them had no air kills. So I let one of them get it, and the Yak one managed to score the kill. And yeah, it just came down to using my one advantage. I technically had 3 advantages. I had good armor, more firepower, and most importantly, a really good speed tolerance when I go into a dive. I can outrun Ki-43s so long as I'm in a shallow dive. So I use that to my advantage to just take the initiative from the Ki-43s. They may have been above us, but they could not use that altitude. And you'll find this a lot if you go up against Spitfires and people who just rely on climbing really high. They usually do not do very well, simply because when they try to dive on you, you can usually just dive away, or you can outmaneuver them at these high speeds, because some of these aircrafts that climb really well do not perform very well at high speeds. I learned a lot of this by either fighting against Ki-43s or fighting against the infamous premium Spitfire Mark 9. The Mark 9 Spitfire is very similar in that case to the Ki-43s. They can climb really well. They will outmaneuver you, but if you take them into a dive, not a crash dive where you go down at a really steep angle, you go down at a more shallow angle, and you wait until that moment where you start going faster than him. And that point, you then level off enough to maintain that speed advantage. You drag him, because if he wants to catch you, he has to dive even more than you are, and therefore he kills all of that altitude that he had over you just to try and catch you. And then at that point, you can start to steal the initiative from him. So yeah, that's kind of what I really liked about this match, is that I stole that initiative right away. I dictated when I engaged those Ki-43s, and they had a really hard time. They got no kills, and they rage quit. So, thank you for watching. I'm Perfect Death. Take care.